I'd like to first start by saying how honored I am to be here and to be head of this fabulous organization. The World Jewish Congress is a name everywhere I go now. People look and they say, bravo, what you're doing. I've never received so many compliments on what you all are doing, and it makes me enormously proud. During this last 12 months, I figured out that I've seen 24 heads of state. I've been to 18 countries. I've given 12 major speeches. I've been to Hungary, Germany, Italy, Canada. I've been met with Egypt, Paraguay, Belarus, Latvia, Albania, Cyprus, Poland, Venezuela, Colombia, India, Singapore, Israel, obviously, Jordan, Panama, Gabon, Austria, and Turkey. I've seen and spoken to many of these heads of state very honestly, and they all say the same thing to me. They say, I respect very, very much Israel and what it's doing. I think Israel is a great country, but the people in the street are very, very much upset with Israel, particularly about the whole question of how they're treating the Palestinians. I hear this thing over and over again. I also hear it in the UN over and over again. What's happened is that the Arab world could not defeat Israel militarily. They could not defeat Israel politically, economically. They could defeat Israel politically, and that's what we see over and over again. The BDS movement that David referred to is all gendered behind a political effort to delegitimize Israel. The whole question of all the type of anti-Semitism comes out, all has the disguise of being anti-Israel. Anti-Israel goes into anti-Semitism over and over again. And the real question for the World Jewish Congress is, what do we say? How do we counter it? I believe, and I believe strongly, that unless we have a two-state solution, it's going to get more and more difficult for us out there. I sat not so long ago in the White House with President Obama, who is not the most popular person, I will say, in Israel and in many Jewish communities, but he said to me, in front of a few people, look, the next time the vote comes in the UN about a resolution demanding that a two-state solution come forth, the United States probably will not veto it. This was both a statement and, I believe, a threat to say, you people must do something. I believe that unless in the next 12 months we do something as a organization, but also as Israel does something, I believe that it'll be very, very difficult in the future. I think the World Jewish Congress has to speak with one voice about a two-state solution. It's already in Berlin. We spoke about it, and I think we have a resolution about a two-state solution. Robert, am I right? Okay. Usually he doesn't agree with me, but this time I think he does. The fact is that it is extremely difficult, I know, in Israel, particularly what is happening now with the stabbings in the street, And the fact is that many of the stabbings done by Palestinians are also Israeli Palestinians, which makes it much more difficult. I've had a chance to speak with Abu Mazen 4 or 5 times now about this question. And although I know the pressures he's under from the Muslim Brotherhood and other organizations, I believe that he also wants a two-state solution. I've had a chance to speak with President Sisi of Egypt on several occasions, and he would back it. I've had a chance to speak to King Abdullah of Jordan. I've been to the Emirates and spoke with them. And all these groups have the same thing in mind. They need Israel very, very much because the fact of the fear of both Iran and ISIS. And the real question for me is, what can we do? On Sunday in the Jerusalem Post, I put a piece out, and I'll give it to you later on, about what I believe has to be done for a two-state solution. It won't be easy, but I do believe that it would help Israel and it help all of us in the world in a whole area. Even Saudi Arabia has made statements that lead me to believe that if there is a two-state solution, Saudi Arabia would be there also. I think they're looking very, very much, many of these moderate Arab states, I use moderate in its major sense, that they believe that Israel, Egypt, Jordan, Palestine, Saudi Arabia, even Kuwait, would be a very strong group against what is happening in the world. I've heard rumblings from Hamas that they're willing to have a hudna, which is a cold peace, for at least 10 to 20 years. I don't know what that means. But again, this is all hearsay. But the real question is, the time is now, and one of the things that I am looking very, very much to the group here is your thoughts, perhaps your support, and I think that this is the greatest thing we can do as an organization. I'm just looking and say the BDS movement, the anti-Israel, anti-Semitic, all the different movements will not change overnight, but it will change. And I think that my fear, again, is the UN and what type of things will happen. I also have a lot of problems with the EU and some of their laws. The most recent one is the labeling of goods coming. And I'm fearful that they are trying to make Israel into another South Africa with the apartheid question. Again, it's a sobering report, but the thing that I'm very confident about is that the World Jewish Congress has a standing, a very strong standing for every country. And the heads of state that I've mentioned believe in us and believe that Israel has the will to do this. And we have here the representatives of Israel, and you'll hear from them later on today on the pros and cons. But I believe that we almost have no choice. I'd like to think that someday when we look back, we'll say this Congress was very instrumental in helping to have a two-state solution. I thank you very much, all of you, for all your support you've given me and for all the countries I've visited and all the people I've made crazy. I appreciate it, and I thank David very much for being the head of this governing board, Shala for making sure we don't go broke, and most important to Robert, who tries to keep, first of all, me in check, which is impossible. The thing that he likes most is surprises. And I try to make sure that every week he has another surprise, so he keeps his job interesting. To all of you, I say thank you very much for all you've done. Thank you.